Hello, everyone. My name is Javier Cervantes. I'm the Communications Coordinator with Grand Rapids Public Schools. It is an honor to be with you all tonight. Thank you for joining us. As you may or may not know, we have over 40 schools in our district, serving close to 15,000 students. There is a school for everyone in our district. So we want to make sure that the school that your child is in, that they feel welcome, safe, and comfortable. And we're going to dive in deeper on the school choices that we have. So we have a difference between neighborhood schools and theme schools. So a neighborhood school is considered a school that can be walking distance to school. You can walk to it. They all of the basics, math, science, reading, writing, all the basics. We also have what are called theme schools. Our theme schools are schools with a certain theme to them. For example, we have a school called Coit Creative Arts Academy, and then it's like in their name, they focus on the arts. So everything that they do is art focused. They do a lot of plays, they do a lot of music, like singing, dancing. So if your child likes, dancing, singing, art, that would be a great choice for your child. For example, we have another school called CA Frost Environmental Science Academy. So if your child is really invested in the science and wants to learn more about the environment, that would be a great choice. CA Frost is actually a pre-K-12 school. It is divided into two different schools. It's a pre-K-5 and then a 6 through 12. And that is a theme school. So a theme application is required. And the second round, although it did pass shortly already in the beginning of February, we are still accepting applications for new students for next school year. So it's very simple. You can apply online at apply.grps.org, and it will break down the list of all of the theme schools that require an application. Once you have filled out your theme school application, it will require you to put in your basic information for your student, and then it will require the information for the parent. It's important that you also put an email address on there so we can email you a receipt of making sure that you know you applied. And then we will also mail you a letter in the mail that said, hey, congratulations, your child has been selected, or unfortunately, your child was not selected into their first choice. But you do have 3 choices you can pick on the application, and it does make you pick 3 different ones. For example, we have families who say, well, I really, really want my kid to go to CA Frost. And I'm like, yay, that's great. But if CA Frost Kinder is already full, we want to make sure that you apply to 2 other choices besides CA Frost. So if you don't get into your first choice, we go into your second. And if not your second, then your third. And sometimes parents say, well, what if I don't get into all 3? We will do our best to accommodate any of those 3, but if for some wild reason we can't, we will then follow up with the family and say, hey, these are other choices that we have. As I mentioned, we have over 40 schools, so I guarantee you there is definitely a school out there that may be a good fit as well. And you can go to that school for that year, and then if you want to try again for next year and apply earlier, that definitely is a possibility. The first round usually opens up in the fall, and the second round opens up in January and closes in the beginning of February. But just kind of keep those things in mind. So when you guys are applying and shopping around for schools for next school year, it's important to have those dates in mind. Or if you have other families who you know who are shopping around for schools, making sure that the earlier they apply, the better. It is a lottery-based system, so it is not first come, first serve, but it is lottery-based. And the reason it's like that is because we have many schools who have limited seating. For example, you don't have to worry about it now for kindergarten, but if you do have, for example, a kid who is in 5th grade going to 6th grade, we have schools that are 6th grade only options, and those schools are only 30 spots in each classroom. There's 2 classrooms. So for example, that school can only take 60 students. So that's why it's limited seating. So that's just an example, but just to keep those things in mind. I'm gonna go ahead and pause right there before I dive into transportation, because that was a lot of information I just shared, and I wanna make sure I answer any questions before we have to wrap up this breakout. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to unmute yourself or you can put them in the chat and I can answer those questions right now. I have the first question from Chris Barber. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was just curious, does GRPS offer a connection with GRCC that if you attend GRPS K through 12, that you then also get free tuition at GRCC?
Yes, and I was going to talk about that last. I always save the best for last, but I can go ahead and talk about it now. Thank you for bringing it up, Chris. So yes, as Chris mentioned, if you are attending a school in Grand Rapids and GRPS and live in the Grand Rapids area, your student also qualifies for tuition-free college at Grand Rapids Community College. And we do have a very strong partnership with GRCC, where a lot of our high school students also take classes now and get credit, college credit. So we do have that strong partnership with them, and we want to make sure that our students are taking full advantage of that. So if that is something that you're interested in and want to make sure that your child is set up for that college tuition, make sure you're signing up early, because the sooner they start, the better. So we do have that option in right away in kindergarten and get them acclimated into GRPS. So yes, great question, Chris. Thank you so much. Do you have a follow-up question?
No.
Right.
I have a question.
Yep.
Where can we get the list of you said there's 40. You just mentioned CA Frost, but where can we get a list of all the schools?
Great question. Yeah.
And like what if they are neighborhood or theme, and what are their theme? Like all that information.
Definitely. So all that information can be found on our website at grps.org. On the top homepage, it says schools. When you click on the schools, it will show you a breakdown of all of the elementary, middle, and high schools. And it will show you if it's a neighborhood school, a theme school, and what you can see where they're located at. You can see a picture of what the principal looks like, a little bit about the school. And then once you have viewed the school, then you see, okay, hey, I want to apply for this school, and it is a theme school, then you can go to the apply.grps.org page. You can type it up, or you can just go in there on the website and apply directly online there. The application is available in English and Spanish, and you can apply directly and select 3 of the schools that you are interested in. Does that answer your question, Ms. Brown?
Yes, I just have one more. One second, okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just curious, is there a school that the theme is more like towards computers or anything like that?
For elementary, well, all of our students have access to technology. We are a one-on-one district, so all of our kids have access to iPads and Chromebooks, and all the students will be able to use that all the way from kindergarten to 5th grade. And then once they transition to middle school and high school, they transition using the Chromebooks. So everyone, but there's not really a school that just is technology focused, but all of them are. We do have technology in all of our schools, definitely.
Okay, thank you. Do you have another question? Dave, you have another question?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question I see from Yeli Romero, familiar name and face. Hola, Yeli.
Hola, Javier. Well, pues te voy a decir en español porque te hablas bien español. Mi pregunta es, ¿tienen que atender a cierta escuela nuestros hijos para que tomen ventaja del beneficio en GRCC?
The question was, do they have to live in a certain area to take advantage of the GRCC thing? And the answer is, they do have to live in Grand Rapids and go to a school in Grand Rapids. So sí, tienen que vivir en Grand Rapids y también asistir a la escuela de Grand Rapids también.
¿Y son todas las escuelas de Grand Rapids o solamente algunas?
Todas las escuelas de Grand Rapids. Creo que hay excepciones para algunas, pero la mayoría sí, en Grand Rapids.
Ok, gracias.
Gracias a ti. The next question real quick, Mallory.
Okay, so I was just curious if with the whole, what you just said about having to live in Grand Rapids, you mean like legit, like if she's in Wyoming, she wouldn't qualify even if she stayed at CA Frost pre-K through 12?
Yeah, so your home address would have to be a Grand Rapids address, a home address, and then she'll be able to qualify. Obviously, she's already going to be in a GRPS school. All we need to be in a address from Grand Rapids.
Okay, because her busing address is going to be different than her home address due to babysitting and stuff.
Mhm.
So I wasn't sure if her living somewhere versus her actual like drop-off address mattered.
Yeah, and she would definitely have to live at that location and not get just dropped off at that location. That makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other quick questions before we have to head back to the main group?
Javier, I did ask Sage for a couple more minutes since you had all of your questions, and I know that you had more you wanted to cover. So if there's anything else you want to cover, go for it.
Great, thank you. I was going to dive into the transportation really quickly. We do offer transportation for our schools. So if that is something that you are interested in, you can definitely sign up for transportation. However, you do have to live more than a mile away to qualify for busing. If you do not live more than a mile away, you will unfortunately not qualify. And if you have questions on where that may be, you can call our Dean Transportation. It's 819-3000, and they can give you more information on where exactly and if you do qualify. So that is also available as well. And last but not least, a lot of families want to say, well, I want to go to a school that is close to my home. And that's great. That's totally fine. And we want to encourage families to attend the school that is best for their students. We do have what is called an attendance area finder. And basically, it's on our website, grps.org, on our homepage. On the bottom right-hand side, you can click on attendance area finder. You type in your home address, and it will show you all the schools that are located in your area. And it will show you the feeder schools. So it will show you your elementary choice, your middle school choice, and then your high school choice. Because we do have a feeder pattern where you start your, and that doesn't mean you have to follow that feeder pattern. There's many choices, but that is just the suggestions that we offer in GRPS. I do see we have to come back in 20 seconds, but I'm gonna go ahead and put my information again in the chat. If you guys wanna follow up with more questions via email or phone, you're more than welcome to message us. And I'm also gonna put the link of our website, grps.org, and the link to apply. Thank you again so much for joining us, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Have a great night.